I'm going to call the Honourable Member Maggie Barry.
Thank you, Mr Chair. I rise to speak on the Parental Leave and Employment Protection 6 months paid leave amendment bill in the name of Sue Moroney. As we look at the Principal Act, which is the purpose, of course, of Clause 3, we wonder really why we're here debating this one. With the budget which we handed down in May has already dealt with all of this. So you're wasting the time of the House, because we have already moved into this space and taken ownership of it, because really what we're looking at is the unaffordability of what has been proposed by the member who is sponsoring this bill. In the very first reading, I remember it well, Ms Moroney did indicate that she would like it expanded out from 26 weeks to over a year. You will not stop at 26 weeks, and we cannot afford that as a country at this time. It's not possible. She's nodding and smiling. So it goes on that we go into a dark hole of indebtedness over a very expensive vote-buying element that you are trying to indulge in, and that is not in the best interests of the economy and of this nation. We have already covered it. I think that there's been some kind of research through the archives and looking back on Hansard's and what other people have said and how apparently they've changed their minds. The time is now better economically for us to be able to afford what we proposed, and the legislation that has been changed in the budget does allow for paid parental leave. We've extended it out in a prudent and moderate fashion, which is all we can afford at this stage. We cannot continue to borrow large sums of money to fund unaffordable election-grabbing things such as what this piece of legislation represents. And it's really, it's not on. It's already been defeated. The Select Committee couldn't agree on it. There's been, I guess, a lot of toing and froing around things that might or might not be included in this bill, but really one wonders why it's still before the House. I think that when we look at the Principal Act of something like this, it is supposed to amend the Parental Leave and Employment Protection Act 1987, but that's already been done. We've already covered that off, and really you need to move on. And this may be the last Members' Day of the 50th Parliament, but really there'll be a lot that I can speak about when we come to the fourth part of this, because when we look at what this government has provided by extending the current 14 weeks out to 16 weeks, and that will be as of the 1st of April 2015, and then to 18 weeks as of the 1st of April 2016, then we're getting into territory that is affordable, it's gradual, it's helping parents, it's helping children, it's helping families, which is what this John Key national-led government is all about. We put families at the centre of our policies, which is why we spent $10.5 billion on health, which is why we continue to invest in education and reach targets for early childhood education. We are moving successfully to a stage where the economy can provide families with the ability to get off the benefit. Something like 1,000 New Zealanders a week are going off the benefit. They will be able to put their families, their children, their households into a better state, into a better place, and remove them from poverty. More jobs, of course, as my colleague has pointed out. That is also what we are providing with the economy, and it is incredibly important that we stay on track. Bill English is a classic Minister of Finance with short arms and long pockets. He's delivered out 2 budgets that have not thrown money wildly around. We're not about that. This is not what this government does. But what we do is we target the money that is needed to the people that require it. The under-6s free GP visits was an important development, and it worked so well that we spent a further $90 million and covered it off until... Is there something wrong with the plumbing in the House, Mr Chair? There seems to be an inordinate squeaking noise. Perhaps there are chihuahuas at loose in the chamber. It certainly sounds a bit like it. There's a funny squeaking noise which, of course, is unintelligible. Even if we could hear it, it wouldn't make any sense. But as far as we're concerned, when we look at the budget and the changes that we've made, we're providing funding to enable more preschoolers to attend quality early childhood. That's giving them the best possible start in life. It is something that is helping New Zealand's most vulnerable. It is helping New Zealand children across the board and helping New Zealand families. We're rolling out 8 more children's teams around the country to help protect our most vulnerable children from abuse. And the money that has been allocated in the budget to sort out these historic sexual abuse claims, those sorts of things, is really going to make a difference and send a clear message to people who continue to perpetrate violence against women and children and families. And we're not about to let that happen. Judith Collins has done very good work in this area. All of the entities and ministries of government are working closely together. And that's another characteristic of this government. We are able to work together with the departments, and it makes perfect sense.
Chair. Mr. Chair.
I call the honourable member Sue Moroney.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The member who's just resumed his